Welcome back to another episode of DB Sports with myself, Joel. I have a special guest today, Vince Hudson. How's it going, Coach?
Blessed by the best, feeling no stress. You know the rest.
Coach, I've looked into you.
Hmm.
You have a very you're in the Hall of Fame from what I'm told.
Yeah,
You went into the
yeah.
trial. How was that?
It was awesome, man. After putting in so many years in the game, and then uh, not even winning a world title or nothing,
Mm-hmm.
but being recognized by all your peers, those that you came up under, and a lot of them was world champs in
Yeah.
Chicago, and just to be among all of them, like I said at the induction, from A to Z,
Mm-hmm.
Ali to Tony Zell.
Yeah.
I mean, the list
To
is
be in those names
yeah,
right there.
yeah. It's really something, man. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
How old were you when you started boxing?
I was 14.
14.
I was 14, and when I started, I begged my dad for years to get involved in boxing
Okay.
because my brother Derek,
Mm-hmm.
who just passed away,
Yeah.
God rest his soul, he was into karate, and Derek used to bring these big trophies home every day.
Yeah, karate has a lot of
Yeah,
trophies. Yes, it has a
man,
lot of
and
money.
I mean they was huge.
Yeah.
They was huge, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get something. But I tried karate, and it was too comical to me. It was like me.
Did you have trouble with the kicks? A lot of boxers always do when they try it.
No, I was pretty good at
Okay.
it, and but my thing was I was an Ali fanatic.
Okay.
So I was like, oh no, I want to box. So me and him would get in the basement,
Mm-mm.
and he'd do his karate because they was doing full contact
Okay.
karate at the time too, and I would work my hands, and so it helped me before I even started boxing. It helped me defensive wise, and because a lot of stuff my dad would teach us at home, and man, next thing you know, I was like, I tried it at the dojo, and everything was funny, like.
Yeah.
All
All that type
I
of stuff.
it was just too comical to me, man. I was like, no, I want that
Mm-hmm.
real. So I finally, my dad finally let me go into the gym, and I was 14 at the time, and back then, at 14 I should have been in juniors and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But my my first trainer, Kid Carson, he was he was working with me, and he used to just put me in with different guys. He was like, "Oh man, you can
Different
handle
ages,
that."
different little bit sizes.
Yeah. So he was like, and this was January. Now the Golden Gloves start in February.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the time January was up, he said, "You need to go in the gloves," and I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." So I'm fired up for it, and so I didn't think on it like
Did you
being
know at the time though
nervous.
what the Golden Gloves help? It's more of a higher up
Oh yeah,
guys.
because we
You
used
knew
to
about
go
it.
every year.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
used to go every year and watch them. And I seen what they did, but I always had in my head that I can handle that.
Yeah.
But I knew I would be at a certain weight, so I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the gym sparring with a lot of pros,
Yeah.
but they was taking their time with me
Yeah.
and working with me. But it built my confidence. So I by February he said, "Hey man, sign them up." And then we went down there and they said, "Oh no, you got to be 16." So back then it
Is
was
that,
it
is that
was
saying you
it was
succeed?
it was easy to change your age. Back then, all it took was a printer,
Mm-hmm.
a printer and some whiteout.
Yeah.
So I took my birth certificate, put it on the printer, and then we whited out the dates, changed the dates on it, and then printed it again after going in the typewriter, and then
Mm-hmm.
use the typewriter. So it was like, man, you used to get away with all kinds of stuff then.
Wasn't there famous stories of Mike Tyson lying about his age
Oh
to
man,
fight some of the people he did?
man, look, I'm gonna tell you when first time we saw Tyson at the Nationals.
Oh, so okay, so you got to see him personally.
Yeah, yeah,
Younger,
in the
you
amateurs.
yes.
Man, the boy was big. It was like they was like, oh man, he ain't but 14. By then I was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
I was about 17. And I was like, man, that boy ain't no 14. Cause I was thinking like when I was 14, I was
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was only 112.
yeah.
But this boy, he was big like
I've heard those
a
stories.
grown
Yeah.
man. And he would get in there, man, with these, I mean, heavyweights was unlimited. They didn't have super heavyweight and all
Yeah.
that. All we had back then was 9 divisions, you know. You didn't have a lot of junior this and that.
Yeah.
So it was like Tyson get in there, man, and he just started wailing on these guys. I was like, dang, that boy, man, ain't no way. And then he'd come out with that light voice, and we used to crack up. We used to crack up. But yeah, Tyson was something else, man, back
Did
then.
he look like a star when you seen him right there?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I just knew he was gonna make the Olympics and everything. I just knew he'd make the Olympics. I don't know what happened. He he had a time with who was it? Henry Tillman. Yeah, he lost to Tillman. I think he beat him once, but then in the trials he had lost to him. But that goes to show that you never know what your destiny is unless you keep going.
Oh yeah, you have to keep pushing.
Right.
We've had a lot of guys in America who win the high, who win some type of medal but don't do nothing with it.
Right.
Like I always tell the kids, Terrence is a perfect example. He didn't make it to the Olympics, and he's one of the best right now.
Right. And then it goes the other way around too. For example, like in '76, you had the '76 team with Sugar Ray, Howard Davis. It was a bunch of them that Leon Spinks, Michael Spinks, and Howard Davis. He was the baddest one on the team. He was up ranked higher than Leonard as far as that, because he won. I can't think of the name of that award, but he won that award as outstanding boxer in the whole Olympics. But when he turned pro, it was a whole different ball game. He didn't have that. He didn't have that killer instinct, and he didn't have that drive just to go for it. But instinct. He could outbox somebody, And he never won a world title though.
Well, they always say, who's that guy that beat Floyd? And then nobody ever heard nothing of him after that.
Right.
Floyd became one of the biggest ever, and he much
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
When you look back at your boxing career, what is one of the favorable moments you've had?
Oh man, my favorite moment was, matter of fact, my first international bout against Poland, and it was funny because. All right, at that time, that was in '79, and it was just before Sugar Ray had fought Benitez for the title. By then, I was a Sugar Ray fanatic because I had watched the '76 Olympics, and I started in '77. And so my thing was I was emulating everything I saw him do, even his attitude toward things, and, because I was like, oh, man, I want to be on the Wheaties box and all that too, and TV and all that. And I looked up, man, when I got there, it was in Milwaukee. So I get there, and my parents hadn't made it up there yet. And because I was, I stayed in Chicago at the time. So me and my brother had drove to Milwaukee for the fights. And as soon as I get up there, I'm like, man, I got to the hotel, they showed me the room I had and this and that. And they said, all right, they gave me my uniform. I was like, oh man, this is too cold. I had a USA uniform and sweatsuit and all this. And next thing I know, I look up and I see Sugar Ray Leonard. And I'm like, wow, man, I went outside. We had phone booths back then.
Yeah, I remember those.
Okay. So I call the house and I tell my mom and I say, hey, you ain't gonna believe who's out here. Sugar Ray is in the room right next to me. It's like, oh, we on our way up. So, and then I looked up and I saw him walking down the street. And I was like, oh, man. I said, so I had my USA sweatsuit on. He said, hey, what's up, pal? Hey, so you fighting on the team tonight, huh? I said, yeah. I said, so I'm thinking like, I need to ask him something. I said, okay, I'm fighting against Poland. What do I do? He said, oh, man, lateral movement. And that stuck in my head. And at that time, that's the way I fought, too. I did a lot of foot movement, and it was something else, man. Then after the fights, we all kicked it and everything. And it was like, and he gave me his number. And so it was just unbelievable, man.
Did you ever call him?
Yeah. Oh, man, I called many a times. And at that time, he was gunning to go get the title.
Okay.
So I would end up calling and talking to his brother Roger the majority of the time. And every now and then I'd catch him at home. But then he was always in a rush. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's always a busy person.
Yeah, I know you got fights coming up, but I just had to holler at you, But yeah, it was something else, man. Yeah, I never forget that. That was about my best time.
I couldn't imagine meeting him because he's one of the, you could argue, one of the greatest
Oh yeah.
147ers, one
Oh
of the greatest
yeah.
of all time right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your
Yeah.
childhood right there, and you get to meet him and you see him
Yeah.
out there. He's literally the room next to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
couldn't imagine.
that was crazy, man. That was crazy. Yeah. And even like just meeting guys that you came up just seeing on TV, because back then we had a lot of TV too.
Yeah.
Okay, am I telling my age now? Or what?
A little bit. Well, no, I know of it
Okay.
because I've done my history of
All
seeing it. I wish they could go back into that.
Right.
I think it would help out boxing a lot more.
It would.
It'll make these guys a lot more bigger.
Yeah.
If they went back to doing some stuff like that.
Yeah, it would. It would. Because I mean, in order to be on TV, man, you had to really do something. Now it's like, I think that kind of stunts the growth of a lot of these fighters, because anybody can get on social media now and
get somewhat famous off the social media stuff.
And then they get to the point where they think they're there already, you know. And that's something that my dad always pushed on me, was like, you know, I don't care how far you climb up. He said, you're never going to get there until you're done.
Yeah.
You know, you always, because the thing is, once you get to that point, like first time I won the gloves, it was like I was that hungry kid on my way up. But then I would always watch all the novice fighters when they was fighting. And they used to be like, why are you watching all them? I said, because they the ones that's coming up next.
Yeah, they'll be
you know, because that was me last time, you know. And man, the thing is, these guys be hungry. And if you're not looking out for them and just being a student of the game, then you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out, and you're going to let somebody swing right past you.
A lot of them are very hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up like that.
Yeah.
They're very hungry.
Yeah, most definitely.
I've looked at your thing. You won 5 times the CYO championship. And then you won also the USA ABF regional 25. You won it, what was it, 3 times, I believe?
Yeah.
How does that have? Do you still have any of the belts, or was it trophies at the time?
We didn't have belts back then.
No belts.
You know, and that's another thing that changed. That makes a lot of these fighters not as hungry, is because they're getting all this stuff.
They're getting the belts, yeah.
Right, and we never got belts. Not when I was coming up. They started bringing them like around in the late '80s. The late '80s, they started having them for like the Golden Glove Nationals.
Yeah.
But besides that, no. Now they have them at almost every show fight.
So it's like, I've been to, when I competed, there wasn't really much of any, unless if it was you have a fight in there that has some guys who have 30, 40 something fights.
Right.
And they were able to get the belt for them. Now I just see some of these events have a belt for every damn fight.
Yeah.
They really need a belt for every damn fight.
Really. Oh man, all we got is like them trophies I got up in there, and that's not even half of them, man. I lost so many through the years, you know. Then some I gave away.
Yeah.
You know, different girls I gave trophies, and then I even sold trophies to some friends that perpetrated that they was fighters too, because they was my buddies.
Yeah.
And I said, no, man, I ain't gonna give you that. I said, give me $20. You know. Okay. So I made my little change back then. I said, well, it was worth it.
When you look back, do you ever go look back and go, there's some things that should have changed? Did you go pro?
I turned pro, and
because I know it says that you've done over 120 something amateur fights.
Yeah. Well, really, overall, I had really 167. But you know, even on the Hall of Fame, they even put on my ring just what they say, 121, and
because they said you had 21 losses and
104 and yeah. And but yeah, you know, they still catching up on BoxRec and all.
Do you believe that though sometimes? Because you hear like Lomachenko's allegedly, what was it, 394 wins, only 1 loss. Like,
yeah.
Do you think they're actually counting that?
Well,
correctly?
I'm gonna tell you, if it was somebody else with that loss, you'd have heard about it, unless that person died. But then you still got people that came up with him around that time. Like Mark Breeden.
Yeah.
He's another one that only had 1 loss in the amateurs.
Okay.
And
it's harder. That's nearly 400 fights that he did. So when you say you lost 1 time,
right.
That's pretty crazy.
That is.
Because, you know, sometimes when you go to some of these towns,
Mm-hmm.
they will do you wrong. He
Mm-hmm.
must have just really
Mm-hmm.
messed them up to
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
have one loss.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing about the game is dominate.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, like you say, you can go to another city and get robbed too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen people just dominate fights,
Yeah.
and we seen in the Olympics and everything. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, I guess they just lucked up and didn't run into that problem. You know.
Yeah, because it's just crazy to me. And you see, like, I think Andrew Broner had like 200 something, very little
Yeah.
losses. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's you must be
Yeah.
just that special person that could do
Yeah.
that. You're
Yeah.
in the right places, maybe right
Right.
opponents.
Right. 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 The
Because
right
a lot of
place.
these places will do you dirty in
Yeah, they
amateurs.
will. Yeah, a lot of them will get you. Yeah, and you know, I explain that to my kids here. I always let them know. I say, you know, it's never a loss. It's always a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have that frame of mind, you and it depends on how far you want to go with this. You know, if you talking about going all the way, well, why are you worried about today? You're not you're not to the point of where you're trying to get to yet. You know, right now you're in the stage of it's the very beginning. You're in the stage of learning, you know, and if you ain't learned how to walk or ride that bike without training wheels
Mm-hmm.
yet, you know, what you tripping for?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to fall again. You're going to fall again until you get it right. And then once you get it right, you still may fall again.
Yeah.
But thing is, uh, like my quote on here, winner never quits and quitter never wins,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I like to say a champion never quits. And because a quitter never becomes champion.
Yeah, you're right on
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
Because you're
and
gonna lose in the amateurs. There's not much. It's just a
yeah,
lesson. You're learning something
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Something you need to work on right there.
Right, right,
And then
right.
sometimes you're actually just beating up the guy, but you're in the wrong place, and they're just gonna give
Mm-hmm.
it to that person.
Right,
You
right,
just it is what it is.
right,
Because
right.
I've had kids where I've seen them come and they told
Mm-hmm.
me they lost, but like, Coach, I fucked him up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go, no, they should use you to drive you.
Right.
Next time you fight him, really make sure you fuck him up next
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
make sure,
yeah.
because you're
You
gonna
got
fight him again eventually.
right, right,
If you
right.
keep going, both of you keep doing good, you're gonna fight him
Mm-hmm.
again. Prove a point
Mm-hmm.
next time.
Right,
Prove a point
right,
that they
right.
did you wrong.
And that's the thing. Like I video a lot of I video. Matter of fact, I got all of my guys that fight. I video all their fights, and I always send them to them, and I always ask them. I say, don't. And that's the first thing I tell them when they sign up with the gym. I tell them, all right, when I send you a video, don't call me or come back the next day telling me, hey, I did this and that. I want to hear about what you did.
Yeah, the
That's
good
what you
things, yeah.
do. That's what you do. You tell me what you didn't do. You know, because that's my job. My
Yeah.
job ain't to find and cheer you on. Oh man, you did it. You know, I keep that to myself.
Yeah.
You know, and because I'm here to watch you grow. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and if some kids can't take the criticism, they got to harden up. They got to harden up because when you get in that ring, it's gonna get rough. You know,
Yeah.
that crowd is gonna be hard on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can't let that crowd get to you and just let it turn your mind and be like, oh, then you think you want to get them bad, so oh, you done blew it now.
Yeah, you fully went
Everything
away from it.
everything stays just sharp. Everything got to stay sharp. You got to keep a cool head at all times. You know.
Was it hard for you going from when you competed to wanting to be a coach now?
Uh, it was a crazy transition.
Mm-hmm. Did you know you
Because
wanted to be a coach?
you know, you know what? I really, it was really that I really want to just show some kids little stuff. It was a slow process because I started out working with Daniel out here,
Mm-hmm.
and
Also, you never taught in Chicago.
oh well, as far as out here with Daniel,
Yeah,
but
okay.
yeah, in Chicago, yeah, I was working for the Park District,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have a boxing program at the park I was at, but I ended up starting one anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and they was cool with it as long as I had some kind of recreation program going.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had started a boxing program back there, and even back there, it was just a way of me getting these kids off the street.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same mentality I had at 1st
Mm-hmm.
when I started here, and before my dad passed away, I used to talk to him about it. He was like, "Man, you know what? You got to give back. Sometimes things that are taught to you and he used to always tell me, everybody ain't made to be champions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some are made to create champions. And he said the knowledge that you have is something that you need to share. You know, don't let it just die right here. And I said, oh, yeah, okay, okay. And that's when I came up with Champions Boxing Academy.
Mm-hmm.
It's my dad right there.
Oh, is that I've
Yeah.
always thought that was you when I would see the logo.
Somebody else told me that too.
I always thought that was you. Come on, we're boxing coaches. Sometimes you'll be surprised. We'll want to put something of ourselves or
Yeah,
name
yeah.
it after ourselves.
Nah, you know what? I got to go to right where it come from. That's my dad. And then I got to explain what champions mean. Well, champ is my dad's was my dad's nickname.
Okay.
Everybody used to call him champ. And so I was like, oh man, can I call it champ Jen? I'm like, that don't sound
Don't
right.
sound right, yeah.
So I said champions. But I came up with the acronym in about 2010 when my sister and my brother-in-law had a church.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, they had a church at the Dome.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy. If I would have, man, the things that could have been done, man.
Yeah, because I remember the Dome when you had the
Yeah,
boxing
and
that.
but back then I came up with the acronym, and I was going to start a program with the church, and it's courageous, humble, academically motivated, prospering, and overcoming negative situations. So it's basically like
That's boxing right there.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
all what you just said right there.
right, yeah. And the thing about it was crazy, and I don't know, you probably go through the same thing working with your kids. You know, I will tell somebody about I could be talking to somebody about life situation,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden I just boom, just like in the ring.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I'll go just like in the ring. You know, you just be patient. You got to be patient. You touching with the jab, and you setting up for the right hand. You know, you just don't rush right in.
Yeah.
You know, and but yeah, that's what that's all about, man. And yeah, I had to do that in honor of my dad. And once I did open up the gym, man, you know, I got to the point at one time, man, where I didn't have a spot.
Mm-hmm.
This was after me and Danny was working together, and he moved out to Arvin.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up, I had some of the kids that wasn't willing to take the trip to Arvin, so they had called me up. Hey, well, hey, coach, so what we gonna do? I was like, okay, call you in the morning. Then I said, okay. So I called some gyms up. I said, hey, y'all sparring today? You know, so I was like, okay. So I start, man, making phone calls, and next thing you know, every day we went somewhere and sparred. And that way I can bring the rest of my group, and if they didn't spar, they can hit a bag. Yeah. You know, but it was a blessing, man, that everybody opened their doors for me like that. And then I finally got blessed with coming back here where I started working at before. You know.
Because one thing I will say, you know, about Bakersfield, nobody ever says nothing bad about you. A lot of people do love you here in Bakersfield.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. That's good to know.
Yeah, because you know you've been here in Bakersfield enough to know how it is. To a certain degree, yeah. But no, I've never heard nobody ever say nothing bad about you. It's always nice, positive things. A lot of people very high up on you, and I've always said, Vince is a cool dude.
Well, you know what? I always felt like, you know, life is like a mirror reflection. You know, whatever you want at you is what you present to others. You know, you're gonna get that back. You know, so if you're throwing out negativity, you know, and that's one thing that I always try and sway from. You know, but you always got to have negativity because, like, I always use the car battery as an example. Well, you got to have a positive and a negative in order for it to work. But the thing is, what the negative does is show me where I don't want to go. You know, so it strengthens me to stay more positive. You know, and that's what I try and teach to the kids here. You know, certain words I tell them, we don't use them 4-letter words. Ain't, can't, won't. We don't use that kind of stuff. You know, everything we do is will, and or we might say not yet. You know, but
I can.
Yeah. There you go. Yep, that's what it's about.
Do you still have fun teaching a lot of the kids?
I do, man. I enjoy it, man. it's no way around it, man. Cause this, this ain't nothing that, you'll just say, yeah, I'ma just go ahead. Man, this is some work.
Yes, it is. It takes
It's
a
some work.
long time to build these
And
kids.
and the thing is, you gotta love it.
Hmm.
If you don't love it, oh man, it's work.
Yes, it is.
It's work.
Because we're not going to get
And
rich off this.
right. No. This is the wrong thing to try and get rich off of. Cause man, man, all you can do is try and work on somebody, and really it's not like looking for yourself. When it comes to anything in life, I believe that's how we get our blessings, is when we go out to others.
Yeah.
If we give into others, that's when things come back to you. And it's not even in a sense of wanting all that. It's just, wanting to see somebody else doing good, And that's the thing that really keep me going. Like the way my gym is, man, it rotates. I got a gang of folks signed up, but I only got a certain group every single month.
Yeah.
And it might not be the same group in about another 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But they rotate back and forth, So it's a blessing, man. It's like I said, as long as you trying to do for others,
Yeah.
The Lord will bless you in return.
I always say being a boxer coach, we're not going to get much credit. We're not going to get rich off this.
No.
We're really not going to get famous off this.
Right.
So I always say our job is to try to help these young kids.
Right.
To as best to be as productive adults as
we
can.
Yeah.
I'll have many kids that will come in here, especially the boys, when they hit certain ages, will have girl problems. And I'm like, all right, here's the, how would you say, father figure or something I have to bring on in me to help them out through their little issues.
Right.
Or some of these guys who just, unfortunately, you could just tell they're whatever life's kicking their butt.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's make this your place. You get away from the nonsense.
Right. Yeah, I have a lot like that. They come in like that, and then you got your bullies, ones that get bullied.
Yeah. Get a lot of those.
Then you got those that's just overweight, playing games all the time, and all these kids, they need some kind of activities to do, because like when I was younger, man, it was all about, oh man, go outside and play. We'll find something to do. And we was running. Yeah. We stayed in shape, But nowadays, man, it's a slower generation, man.
Yes, it is.
And but I noticed that's one good thing that I love about boxing, is that like I have a group, like I have my beginner, my intermediate, and my advanced. Now my beginner and intermediate, I make sure they have fun. The intermediates are getting to the point of really slipping punches. That's when I really work with them on that. But I always have them where it's like if I bring them right in, because I went through stages of and having to change up my routines.
Yeah.
I first used to bring them in, all right, get in the ring, Now
I've seen a lot of coaches do
now, they don't touch that ring until they're ready for that ring. And they had to show me that they want to get in that ring. They don't put gloves on for they don't get no mitts until they're ready for those mitts. You got to show me that you got footwork, that you dedicated enough to try and get that. Now, when it comes to the kids that, that just need physical condition and all that, okay, I'll work with them with that. But if you come in here with the attitude, how we was talking before, everybody want to be world champ.
Yeah.
I want to win the Olympics and this and that. Oh, okay. I done had so many that came
so many
through.
Of those, yes.
And then next thing you know, you don't see them for like 3 months. And then, oh, hey, coach, then you get a text from Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Hey, coach, hey, I'm sorry, man. Sorry, y'all, this and that. Man, don't be sorry at me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. If you want to do it, you're going to do it.
You'll find time for this.
Yeah.
I told a lot of them, stop pointing the finger, pull the thumb. It's not me. I'm here Monday through Saturday.
Right.
You're the one not showing up.
Right.
If you want to reach those high levels, you have to be here.
Right.
Put in whatever the work is that you have to put.
Yeah. If you want it, you can get it. Anything we want on this planet, we can have. And it's so much easier now, man. Especially with social media, man. social media, you could be anybody you want to be,
Yeah,
you
yes,
know.
you can, yeah.
And there's a lot of perpetrators out there that perpetrate that they are that,
Yeah.
you know. Man, and it's like, oh man, I just hate the way I'm seeing the fight game go too, man.
What do you think about the new generation of how they box and like the pros and amateurs?
It's a handful of them out there. It's a handful that's still and old school. I say old school because old school is going off a lot of the old techniques that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Certain movements where, you know, instead of jumping off back here and I always say getting set, all right, not reset. We never use the term reset because once you set, you set.
Yeah.
You got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to take care of business. So throughout those 3 minutes, you focus. You focused on what you're doing, and it's about playing tag, you know. So you scoring your points, scoring your points. Nowadays, they like boom, boom, and nobody doubles up. They just boom.
You're seeing a lot of single
Come back here.
punches.
Yeah. Oh man, all we did, that was the name of the game, was doubling up. It was like hit it until you can't hit it no more till it's gone, you know. And but if you don't do that, man, I'm gonna tell you, if these guys now, your average guys, not the handful. The handful probably could hang, but they still couldn't get over on the old school.
Yeah.
Because even before my time,